Hi and welcome. My name is Tolan and I'm the co-founder of Productivity Me. In this video, we're going to look at the idea of the fill handle within Microsoft Excel, which will allow us to continue things like a series, a pattern, maybe copy down formulas, or even days or months of the year. So with that, let's get started. If you want to follow along, go ahead and open up exercise file 03.05. You can find the link to this file in the description portion of this video. Okay, so let's get started. Now, so far in the course, we've looked at Microsoft Excel from a perspective of mostly selecting things, right? So when you're in Microsoft Excel, you'll notice that your cursor will have different kind of displays. So one common display here is the general selection display, which looks like a little white cross. It's kind of fat. If you go to the edge of a cell, such as this active cell, you'll get basically an arrow cursor and then a like what looks like a compass sign with 4 excluding arrows. That's something we'll discuss later as a way to move text. If you move up in between columns, it will turn into what is often referred to as the line with 2 arrows on the side, at least in the world of Tolan. And then if you move something to the bottom right corner of the cell, you'll get what's called the Excel fill handle. And the Excel fill handle is interesting in that if you move your cursor to the bottom of your selection, the bottom right-hand corner, and then you left click, you can drag down and it will essentially extend the pattern or the series that you have. So if you were to just have a single number or a single word and you were to drag that down, it would essentially repeat that number. But if we were to, let's do an example here. Like if we were to have 100 in this cell, we were to drag it down, these would all be 100. Whereas if we were to have the number 1 and the number 2, that's essentially telling Excel that it's probably a series. So we can drag it down all the way to maybe 12. So we go 1 through 12, and we got there by dragging the fill handle. Now, Excel doesn't necessarily have to have a series of chronological or ordinal numbers, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be a pattern like 100, 150, 100, or maybe 200, or even 225. And then when you select that combination and activate the fill handle by left clicking and then dragging it down, it would essentially continue that pattern. So it can do series and patterns. It could also do things like A, B, C, right? It doesn't have to be numeric combinations. But if you do that, it may just end up repeating. So there are certain things that are not pre-formulated into Excel. So if you wanted to use a formula, so let's say that we're basically going to take whatever value is in this cell and multiply by 2. That's 200. Whatever value is in this cell, multiply by 2. We take this pattern and we drag it down. That too could work. Now, you can also do this for days of the month or basically days of the week or months of the year. So if we have January, February, we drag it down. We go all the way to December. Then after we pass December, it would start repeating with January. So days of the week also work. So Monday, Tuesday, what comes after Tuesday? Generally it's Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it would start repeating. Now you can use the fill handle either to drag down like we've done in this example, or you can actually drag over. Just gonna clear that. So you can select a series like we have here, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe we'll go to 7. We have patterns, again, 100, 200. Or formulas, maybe it would be this times 2, again. So we'd select those and then drag to the right. Now, you can, of course, select multiple things, and if they are both in a coherent pattern, the fill handle will duplicate both of those. So because we had 2 different cells selected, and those cells had essentially a pattern that the fill handle could recognize, it went January and then Monday, February, Tuesday, March, Wednesday, so on and so forth. So essentially, the fill handle will allow you to either drag down specific values. If you had letters here, you could drag down the letter A. It could allow you to drag down patterns. So if this was, let's say, 50 and this was 250, we're essentially adding 200 every time. So then here we have formulas. We could do that. Days of the month are days of the week. Months of the year are days of the week. We can also bring it out to the rate. So in our next video, we'll look at the idea of the autofill function as well as autocorrect within Microsoft Excel. So if either of those are interesting to you, go ahead and join us in the next video. All right, thanks for watching.